Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Alex Ward, broker owner of Maxwell Devonshire Realty, and we have Vern Town of the Real Estate Association of Edmonton. Vern is going to be talking with us today about how to use ShowingTime effectively and efficiently. It is apparently adopted by 97% of the associates within the Realtors Association of Edmonton, which is absolutely fantastic because it is a great tool. However, not everyone uses it effectively. So that's why we have Vern here today to talk and show you guys how to use it to its maximum efficiency. Vern, the floor is yours.
Right on. Thank you very much, Alex. And for those of you that are in the session here, please feel free to ask me any questions at any point in time. And I will do my best to answer those. It is an interactive session. So as I'm walking through some of these tools, if you guys do have questions for me, please don't hesitate to ask and participate as well from your own devices or from your own systems so that we can make sure that we have everything covered effectively. So the way we're going to cover this, I'm basically going to show you a bit of a demo explaining to you exactly how ShowingTime works and how it is effective. And as well as then we're going to do a hands-on whereby I'm going to show you how it actually works with your systems and helping you to walk along and actually make sure that your ShowingTime is set up correctly so that everything is functioning on your end. Why do we use a showing service? Well, it helps you to save time and stay organized. Ultimately, as real estate agents, you're very busy people. I know that. I was a realtor for 17 years, and there's a lot of things happening all the same, all over the place in many different situations. So the advantage with ShowingTime is by saving time and staying organized, you can keep everything in one spot. You know what your schedules are, you know when you're showing, you know when your houses are being shown, and it's a great tool for that benefit. The ability to send automated feedback that after a showing has been completed, that you can automatically send that feedback to the showing agents. The benefit of that is that now you don't have to worry about following up and saying, okay, I mean, so I know that Jeff showed my house. I'm just curious, if you actually had any thought what his thoughts are, and have to look up his number and message him. But instead, the system will automatically send him a feedback request, and then he can say, yeah, my clients like it, the price is too high, or the house is great, or next time make sure you clean up the dog stuff in the backyard. It's easier for my clients. So things like that are great advantageous for you. The ability to track all activity. You just finished doing your taxes. For some of you, you just sent it in a couple of weeks ago. But when you did that, you're trying to keep track of all the activity of everything I don't even know how many houses I've shown last year. Well, if all of your house showings are through ShowingTime, you can literally print off a sheet and you have all that information in one fell swoop. The flip side of that as well is if your clients have ShowingTime set up on their device, and yes, you can have your clients have a ShowingTime app and you'll really like that. But then your clients will also know, well, Vern, you've never showed my house. It's been listed for like a week and a half, and there hasn't been a single, only like one or two showings on my house. How come? And I say, well, let's take a look at it. And Mr. Seller, please take a look at your app. You can see we've actually had 17 showings, and it hasn't sold yet because maybe we shouldn't have listed it for $395. Maybe we should have put it for $350, like all of our stats reports were actually saying. The ability to eliminate surprises. And what's a surprise? Well, maybe your clients have a birthday party on Friday night and they don't want any showings, or it's the Oilers game tonight. Go Oilers. And they are having a bunch of people over to cheer on their team, and they say that we don't want any showings tonight. Well, if you can actually put that right into ShowingTime, and that way when an agent wants to show that property, it says, nope, it's not available for showing tonight, because you've actually blocked off that time, and it saves you the trouble of having somebody worry about trying to set up a showing, and then all of a sudden, worst case scenario, they knock on the door and says, we're here for the showing, and you say, no, there was no showing. Well, yeah, I sent the message and so on and so forth, or I just thought it would be available. And so eliminating surprises helps you in that regard as well. And the last last one is to keep the property access information secure. Things like lockbox codes and alarm codes and CBS codes. You can literally have all that information safely secured inside of ShowingTime. So the only people that will get that information is the ones that have confirmed appointments. That is when that information gets sent to them. And the flip side advantage to that is the fact that not only is that when the information gets sent, but you can literally put a secure access so they will only get that information literally when it's time for their showing. So if you have a showing, I mean, today is Tuesday, so maybe you have a showing on Thursday. So rather than sending them the alarm and all the rest of that information today, the showing is booked for 3 o'clock on Thursday. At 10 to 3 on Thursday is when they get the alarm code and the CBS code. So you're not worrying about people going to houses early or prematurely, and that alarm code isn't sitting out there too long. So let's show you how we're going to schedule a single showing. I'm going to show you first, and then we're going to make sure that we get up your system set up correctly. So if you are ever inside of Paragon, and I'm just going to grab some random listings here that are in my market monitor list. And when I look at any one of these listings, I'm going to grab this listing. I'm going to go to this listing over here. And as soon as you click on it, you will notice that there's a showing icon here under the actions button. Or if I actually have the listing clicked, I can see right down here, there's a button that says schedule showing time. So it's super easy to get at it. In order to make it easiest for me, I'm actually going to use some of my test listings. Okay, I've got 5 test listings. And by the way, if you ever want to practice with your showing time, and for those of you that are doing it in a real application right now, sitting in front of your computers or on your phones, if you ever grab any of these listings that are called on test something, there's I don't even know what the name of that street is. There's a Test Crescent, Test Place, Test Range Road, Test Haven. So you can literally practice with any of these test listings and actually send requests and, I mean, all the rest of that. So if I go to this one over here on 992 Test Place, okay, and I'm going to click on the MLS number, it's going to open up for me, and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click on Schedule a Showing. You're going to notice that it takes me to showing time. Now, this one is very interesting because all of your showing time listings have one of 3 ways of setting it up. You can have something called go and show. You can have something that is confirm and for a vacant property. And you can also have a view instructions only. Okay, so this is a go and show, which means that for a vacant property, I don't need to necessarily book an appointment and wait for a confirmation. For a vacant property, I can literally book the appointment, and as soon as I say I'm booking that appointment, I'm gonna schedule a single showing. And now all I do is I pick the time spot for when I want to have that showing. It is a showing, and it gives me all that information. And I'm going to click on request appointment, and that appointment has been completed. If it is one of my other listings, most of these listings have actual schedules. So when I click on schedule a showing, well, my screen is huge. Okay. When I click on schedule a showing, I'm going to go down here now and click schedule a single showing. And you can see that I already have a different appointment booked at that time. That's in my schedule because I had that appointment booked. So I'm going to, and I can't book an appointment early because right here, this black part, I can't book an appointment before 9 a.m. because it's already 9 a.m. But you can see that if you tried to book an appointment here, it literally doesn't let you click. This gray section, you notice that if I click over here, it says you've requested an appointment time that may be too soon for us to confirm. Although this may be difficult to set up in such short notice, we will make every effort to accommodate your request. So if I was trying to book an appointment for 990 Test Crescent, they actually prefer to have some notice time for those appointments because their clients have kids or whatever they need to get at the house. So you can see that there's actually different blocked off times. So I'm going to book this one at 4 o'clock. And I'm going to book it from 4 to 5 o'clock. And it is a showing. I'm going to click on request appointment. The appointment now gets sent to the listing agent, and that appointment has now been requested. If I go back to any one of these listings, they all work the same way. Well, schedule a single showing is fine, but rarely, sometimes you only book one appointment. But usually when you're out there booking appointments, you are actually trying to book multiple appointments at the same time. So let's grab all 5 of these listings. And this time I'm going to go up here to actions at the top of the page. Oh, my screen is almost too small. I'm going to go to actions at the top of the page. and I'm going to go across to showing time. And this time you're going to see the option for schedule a single showing no longer exists. I can only now add to showing cart. A showing cart is a collection of listings. So I'm going to say add to showing cart, and when do I want to show those? I want to show them tomorrow. I'm going to pick May 11th in here as the time that I want to show it. Do I want to have a buyer's name in here? Well, this part's really cool because as I add in a buyer's name in here, and I just have to make sure who my buyer actually is. Let's go see who my buyer actually is, because I need to make sure I book it up because I want to show you what it looks like on my actual phone as well. And I believe my buyer is going to be Elvis Presley. Okay, so Elvis Presley is my buyer. Okay, and now you could also add a new one, and this is where it gets cool. If you add in a new buyer in here, they will actually get an email that asks them to set up an app to create on their phone. So I don't want to do that. So this is Elvis Presley for Wednesday. Okay, and then I'm going to click on OK, and it is going to take me to a page that allows me to see when I can book these appointments. And right now they're all over the place. I can book any of these appointments for Wednesday. So you basically say, well, and you look down in the bottom here, and now you're also going to see where all of these appointments are. And it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't like the order. So we're actually going to click on Smart Route over here, and it's going to slightly shuffle them around. And yet it still thinks that I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because that's the order it is. Well, I know because of where my client lives, I literally want to move this one to a different location. So we're going to drag that one up to the top. And now it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And maybe we want to put this one over here. And it's going to shuffle the order around accordingly to what I know that I can show those properties in. So now I'm going to book the appointment. I'm going to say this one is from 10 to 11. I'm going to click on save. And then I'm going to go here from 10:45 to 11:45. And I could add in here notes for the listing agent or notes for your buyer. And those notes would show up right on your client's device, or these would get sent to the listing agent. Okay. My clients really like this one. Okay. And I'm going to click on save. And then I'm going to pick on the next one. And I'm basically going through here and I'm choosing the time spots for all of my appointments. Okay. And I'm just going to keep going along here. And then we're going to do this on your systems in real time. So just bear with me a couple of minutes here while I show you this. So now I have these 5 appointments. I know that's approximately when I want to show them. And you can see here the approximate times of what it's going to take to get between the different properties. I'm going to click on send requests. Now, all 5 of those requests have been sent. You'll notice that one of them immediately says confirmed, because that was the go and show listing. Okay. And it immediately puts the window around here. And you notice that some of them have actually black bars before and after that, because this particular listing has said, I do not want any showings closer. I want 1 hour between showings because they want to clean or they want to do whatever. This one here has said I need 15 minutes between showings. And these 2 have said, you know, I mean, we can have showings back to back. So if somebody's in there from 10 to 11, somebody else can book from 11 to 12. This one here, the earliest that someone would be able to book an appointment would be at noon, because even though my showing is only from 10:45 to 11:45, because they have a 15-minute window in there. What does this do for your clients? Well, if they have the app set up, then they will actually appear on their app and they can see it. Or you can literally go and actually send off an email. So if I go and I click on this URL over here to see exactly what my clients would get in an email, I'm going to add this in an incognito window because then it doesn't remember any of the old caching. Your clients will literally get a page that looks like this. Okay, this is a showing for my buyer, Elvis Presley. There's 5 stops. And you can see here it says requested, requested, confirmed, requested, and requested. Well, as the agent, what I get as the agent, and I'm going to share my screen here with you guys so you guys can see exactly what it is that I'm seeing. Okay, where's my phone? There's my phone. Let's bring it up over here. Okay, here's my cell phone. And you can see I've got up in the top here, I've got my ShowingTime app. And I've also got my home by ShowingTime, which is actually what my client sees. But let's go to my ShowingTime app first. Now, I, as the agent, see that I have requests on 3 of my showings. Okay, those three are all confirmed, and those are the only appointments that I actually have as this particular agent. If you have other appointments, you could actually see all of them in here, and you could literally decline or add listings accordingly, depending on what your showing was doing at that particular time. As they get confirmed, as they get declined, as they get requested, your clients will always see this. They can click on this, and they will be able to find out which appointments are confirmed. Oh, so we can't see that one with the blue fishbowl. Okay, that's fine. We really didn't like that house anyway. So that's the advantage with this, because those appointments are automatically confirmed. You could add in additional listing stops in here. You could put in an MLS number. You can even add another stop in here, because maybe they're meeting at Tim Hortons beforehand, and you put the address, and then you can rejig this entire map and all the rest of that stuff as well. You can even print this off if your clients really need to see this. You can show the listing map. You can even show the directions. And now the clients will actually be able to know exactly how to get from one place to the next. Really beneficial if your clients are new to the business. This is for you as the agent, okay? Or you can actually have a buyer's version, which shows a little bit less information, but it still tells them which properties are where and how far we're traveling in and all the rest of that. Okay, so I've sent those appointments. Well, how do I set up my listings? Because when I go through there and I schedule a showing, I showed you this go and show, because this is when something is automatically confirmed and it's going to send that information back to the clients. It's typically used for vacant homes or on the lockbox. There's another one called view instructions only. Maybe you don't even want appointments booked off. And if somebody tries to show an appointment in something that is a view instructions only, what the view instructions only will do is, as soon as they try to schedule a showing, it is going to pop up, and the screen is going to say vacant lot, no appointment necessary, just drive up to lot at any time. Please provide feedback. So you have a go and show, you have a view instructions only, and you have the regular appointment, which you saw that I made for 4 of those particular listings. When you're scheduling multiple showings, I just showed you how to do that using the showing cart, which is what most of you are going to be doing a lot of the time. The mobile app, the power of the mobile app is it's got everything inside of the mobile app that you could possibly need to see. And I'm trying to share my screen here, because you see here is, do I have any showing carts available? Any current tours, any past tours? I think I'm logged into myself. That's why I should be logged in as the other profile. Okay, so you can see all that information inside of there on your listings. You can see the entire conversations that you've had with anything. You can actually view and edit the instructions on any of your current listings. You can see your buyers. You can see all of that, all from the convenience of the app. If your client has an app, okay, now my particular client does have an app, because Elvis Presley actually went and installed the Home by ShowingTime app, and I can see that now my client opens up their app after they log in with their credentials, and they can see that they have some notification on their listing, and there's a whole bunch of showing that's confirmed, and there's one that's been requested for different properties that are theirs, and they can literally see the information. And the advantage with the client is, because this is his listing, this particular listing, the client actually has the ability to confirm or decline the showing. They can see all of their current upcoming tours if they have upcoming buyers tours set up. And I can see here that there's none there. There's a couple of past tours that should be in here, but the client sees the showings that are confirmed and that are canceled and that are declined. And as the clients, they have the ability to see all that. So now it helps you, because you're no longer worrying about, well, how is my client going to know when these appointments are confirmed or when they're canceled or when they're changed, as both buyers and sellers, because they all stay within the exact same app. Okay. As the seller, the client also has the ability to go back and see my listings. And you can see that this particular client actually is selling 3 listings. And he can go click on 992 test, and he can see the listing there, and he can see all of the activities for his listing and all the showings that are in the past and the current upcoming showings. They can read the feedback that's been posted by the different agents on their showings. And the client has access to all of this information right from the convenience of their cell phone. So how do you download the ShowingTime app? Here is the screen for you. So if you want to grab your cell phones right now, grab your cell phone, open up your camera and actually just click on, whoops, let's move this over so I'm not covering this page, and grab your camera and click on the right one here. There you go. You can see that when I go over that, it opens up and immediately takes me to the Play Store, and it is going to install the ShowingTime app. Now, please do me a favor, click on the correct app of your particular phone type, whichever one that is, and install the app now. Do not click login. Now, if you have already installed the app, fantastic. If you have not installed the app yet and you're doing this for the first time, when you get to the screen, you're going to be presented with a login screen. Please do not click login, and I will show you why. When you want to sign in, download and sign into the ShowingTime app, and you'll notice that I'm actually going to the knowledge base. There's the 2 QR codes. When you get the screen, depending on your particular version of operating system, whether you're running it on Android or whether you're running it on an iPhone, they all work the same way. And depending on the level of OS, some of you may get a window that asks you the question, do you know your ShowingTime username and password? If you get this window, click no. Then enter in your email address here and click on submit. You're going to get an email and then click on login. This is how you register your app for ShowingTime. If you're on the iPhone or on a brand new browser for Android, you're going to get a window that pops up that says username and password. Do not put in your Paragon username and password because it doesn't work the same way. Simply click on the button here that says register in order to be able to register your device. When you click on register, you're going to get the exact same window as I just showed you, where you put in your email address. And once you've done that, you're going to get an email and you're going to click login. This is how you register for ShowingTime. Now, please, if you guys have the ShowingTime app installed, let me know that by clicking the raise your hand icon for me. By the way, if you do have any questions while I'm going along here, please make sure that you interrupt me and ask your questions. Okay, looks like some of you have it installed, and I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint slides so that everybody else can get it installed as well. It is important that you get the app installed because of the convenience of doing things from the app on your device as agents. So the most important thing for you is you need to be able to book an appointment on ShowingTime. So if you all want to take and go to your browser or your Paragon right now, and I don't care how you do a search, you can even do it up here by typing in the word test, and you're going to see that the listings are all going to come in here, and you're going to see any of these active listings. Or if you have your quick search on the home page and you have the address field, simply put the word test inside here, and it's going to show you the listings in that regard as well. And then whichever way you go about doing it, but please find these 6 test listings. Now, bear in mind, the orange one is a go and show. The other ones are all appointments that you need to book. So whichever one you grab, but I need you to go to any one of these listings so that you can follow through and click on schedule a showing. Because as soon as you click on schedule a showing, what you're going to notice is if you only have a single listing, you can schedule a single showing, or you can add it to a showing cart because you already have showings booked up for a single appointment. And as soon as I do that, I can now see that I've got a calendar that is full, and I can see when those appointments are. If I was logged into my own profile, and let's go to my own profile, and I click on assume identity for Vern Taves, and I now try to book appointments for those showings, you're going to notice that as I try to book these appointments for these test listings, and I only want to do these, and I'm going to go to actions and click on ShowingTime. And I'm going to add to showing cart, and sure, we'll add these to Elvis Presley and click on go. I've got Elvis Presley in both of them, but you'll notice that now there is already windows blocked out that I cannot show at specific times because they are not allowed to be shown on those days, or there's already previous appointments that have blocked off that time window. So that's what you will see when you're trying to book an appointment. Now, there's a really cool function inside of ShowingTime that if you have an appointment that there is no current availability on that specific day, at the top of the page for a single appointment, you're going to have something that says waitlist. And the advantage with the wait list is you can literally put yourself on the short list for an appointment. So if you get to a page and there are no available time slots in ShowingTime. Now, this is happening because there's so many people that are trying to show these houses, and the house got listed, and you're saying, "Man, I'm trying to get in for that appointment." You will literally get to a page that's all black like this, and you're saying, "But I can't see. There's almost no appointments for me to show that particular property." Then at the top of the page, you're going to have this orange bar here that says "Join Waitlist." Your clients really want to see that listing at 995 Test Place, but there is no available appointments. You can literally put join wait list. You will go onto a wait list, and if somebody cancels or if there's an opening coming up, you're going to get an email that says, "Hey, there's an opening for tomorrow at 4 o'clock on this particular property." And you say, "I'll take it." And you click the link, and boom, now you are booked into that appointment. So if there's just so much demand on a particular property, you can literally add yourself to a wait list, which is a really, really cool function. So let's make sure that you have all now installed the app. So we now need to set up a couple of things in your app. So from your Paragon, go up here to Preferences and go down to ShowingTime Setup. Okay, logged into Paragon, go to Preferences and go to ShowingTime Setup. When you click on ShowingTime Setup, it is going to give you Alex will have 2 pages. He'll have one that says Office Home and one that says Agent Home, because he can do a few different things with that. I forgot that I was logged in as myself. I'm a broker when I'm in here as myself. So I'm going to go back and be my own training ID, because then I don't see the same thing. So I'm going to go to Preferences, ShowingTime Setup, and now I will only see my own information. So the broker has a couple of additional things that they can put in there, but as the agents, you're going to do your own profile. So please make sure you're logged into Preferences and then ShowingTime Setup. Once ShowingTime is open, I want to go through your profile now. Now I can't see you, but I'm hoping that you are all following along with me. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to click on Edit Profile. Some of you may have had a window pops up on the screen and does this every now and then. It says, "Please verify all of your contact information," so that you see that everything is correct. So I'm going to go through now and show you what you need to make sure is set up on your profile. So from here, you're going to see that there is my first name and last name. Now, if you have a first name that is different than what your legal registered name is, because for some people they have registered names that but they go by a short version of it, and so you can literally change here. This is what will display inside of ShowingTime only. So go through here, make sure your first name and last name is correct. Then the second thing is ensure that you have your mobile phone number inside of here, whatever that mobile number happens to be, and that you have made one of these options as mobile phone. The reason you need to do that is because if you do not have a mobile phone number in here, you will not be able to use any of the text options if you choose to use them within ShowingTime. So if I change this to only have a home number and no mobile number, you will see that when I get down here to text message, there is no option for me. And down here under the actual appointments, if I try to click over here under text message, there's no activating this text message option. If I have this number set as my mobile number, now I can actually choose if I want to receive text messages or not, because it is an option. Okay. You can put in other numbers in here. Make sure that your email address is the email address you want to use. It should automatically put in the address known as your marketing email that you put into your member portal home profile. And down here, you're going to choose which cell phone number you want to use if you have text messages activated, and whether you want one message or whether you want a long message. Okay. Do you want the abbreviated message, which has shortcuts and abbreviations all over the place? Or do you want the long message? You can set that up inside of here as well. Okay. The rest of this information on the side here, you can fill in or you leave blank, it's irrelevant. The second one, login information. Please verify that you have nothing in here. ShowingTime has a large screen with all kinds of options that do not necessarily apply to our association here. So you do not need a username and password. And in fact, we recommend you not to put one in here because you're risking it messing up some of the other functions because of the way that the usernames and passwords and the synchronization is passed through. Okay. And we do not use any of this My Linked Profiles as well. It doesn't work the way that you think it should. So this entire login information box, please don't use any of it. The next one is listing agent showing preferences. Allow agents to request appointments online, yes or no. And I was just had a brief conversation with Alex beforehand, and 97 or 98% of all realtors that are currently part of the Realtors Association of Edmonton have this box here checked to yes. Okay, there's only a very small handful that say no. So, but what you are doing here is you are setting up your default showing preferences that you want to have your system set up when you get a new listing and add it to the system. Okay, so I'm saying here yes. The second option says, what do you want your default properties to have as far as appointments? If you click on this, you can see it's in-person and virtual, virtual only, or in-person only. Now, the difference is that in-person and virtual, you say, what's a virtual appointment? A virtual appointment is, now you've got a client who's not here. They're in Victoria and they want to move to Edmonton. And they want to show a property here virtually. And well, what's a virtual showing? Well, you're literally taking your phone, either using a Zoom or WhatsApp video or FaceTime or whatever you do, and you're walking around the house, showing them the house. Or what does that closet look like again? You take your phone, you actually go in the closet and say, well, this is here, this is there. Okay, so that's what a virtual appointment is. You can allow in-person and virtual only, or in-person only. Whichever one you choose here, remember, you are setting up the default settings for your listings. And this is for the new listings. For all of your listings, what do you want it to be? This is where we have these three options. I already briefly touched on this. There's something called appointment required, go and show, and view instructions only. Appointment required means that permission must be obtained from any of the listing contacts or the listing agent before the appointment request can be confirmed. It's typically used for occupied homes. Go and show is appointment requests are documented and immediately confirmed, typically used for vacant homes on a lockbox. And view instructions only will the showing agent will immediately see any notes, but the showing agent will not be given a calendar to select an appointment date and time, because you just go drive by it. It's a vacant piece of land. You don't need to book an appointment to it. And I don't care how many cars are lined up in front of it. You guys can just go do that. So for some of your listings, you might want this. For a vacant home, you might want this. So the people are still booking the appointments. You're still tracking that, but you don't have to worry about trying to confirm all those. For most of your properties, you're going to use the appointment required option. Allow scheduling overlaps. Now, during COVID, we had to make sure that this was activated, and my recommendation is that you still keep it this way. Default, no overlapping appointments, exclusive appointment requests only, which means if somebody has booked a showing on that property from 10 to 11, the only time window that you have is between 10 and 11, and nobody else will be able to see that appointment between 10 and 11. If you do allow overlapping appointments, how many do you want to have in the house at the same time? Now, eventually, I'm thinking we may go back to allowing overlapping appointments again. It might help out in a crazy market that you do have some overlapping appointments, but I would minimize this very carefully. And before you do have any questions, make sure you ask what your office policy is in this regard, as far as allowing overlapping appointments or not. Some people are still paranoid about that stuff. And so you can have whatever you want. But the bottom line is you can set here how many, and this is determined if you are allowing overlapping appointments. If you are not allowing overlapping appointments, how much is the buffer time? Do you remember that one showing that I showed you that said added 15 minutes on each side? That's what is set over here. That one is showing actually had an hour on each side. That is what is said here. So if an appointment is booked from 11 to 12, then from 10:45 to 12:15, nobody else will be able to book an appointment if you have a 15-minute overlap. If you have a 1 hour overlap appointment on that 11 to 12 showing, then from 10 to 1, nobody else would be able to book an appointment. So this is what you're determining inside of this window over here. What do you want to share with your clients? I showed you what the clients get. They find out exactly who's coming to look at their property and all the rest of that. But you can literally say, do not share anything with the clients. Just tell them there's a showing. Share the agent's company information only. So it's somebody from Maxwell that's showing this property. Share the agent's name and company. No, I know it is Joanne from Maxwell is showing the property. Or share all agent contact details. So it's Joanne from Maxwell, this is her phone number, this is her email address, and she's showing your property at 11 o'clock. So you determine here how much you want to tell your clients. I don't know if you guys have a policy on this or not, but I usually didn't hesitate to share the agent's company or even the name in the company, because let's face it, they're going to find out who is in the property anyway, because whether the agent leaves a business card behind or not, I don't even know if you guys are still doing that. But back in the days when we used to leave business cards behind, the clients would find out who was showing the house anyway. So for me to say, yes, Joanne from Maxwell Devonshire is showing your house at 11 o'clock this morning, there's nothing wrong with that. So, but it's kind of whatever you want to do as a person. We know the default here is set to do not share, but you kind of decide what you want to do here. And unless Alex has something to say different about that, I would say, that's not bad. Unless you have a different policy, you want to jump in here, Alex, please, by all means, let me know.
We don't have a specific policy about it. You can do whichever one you want.
So let's keep going. The next one is notifications for appointments on my listings. How do you want to be notified that there is an appointment? Do you want to receive an email? Do you want to receive a text message? Do you want to get a push notification? Now, the push notification option will only exist if you have the app installed and activated on your device. Or do you want to use Showing Voice? Now, Showing Voice is that silly activated voice thing, which says, this is the ShowingTime system calling. You have an appointment request from Alex on your house at 995 Test Place for Thursday at 11 a.m. And you can literally push some buttons on your phone and activate it, or you have to run over to your phone and grab it and log into the ShowingTime app. And you can actually, when appointments are confirmed or canceled, you can say, do you want a phone call for every confirmed appointment or just the decline and cancel calls only? The challenge with the Showing the Voice is it's just the computer activated thing, and they're very limited about what you can do in those responses. The most interactive aspect is when you actually log into the app or onto your computer to confirm or decline those appointments. So I would strongly recommend you deactivate the Showing Voice. Now, how many of these do you want? Personal preference, okay? Because if it does come to you as an email notification, what you're going to get is you're going to get an email that pops into your system like this, and it's going to say action required. And when you click on that action required button, it's going to open up a window. If you're on your computer, it's going to open up a window that looks like this. And you simply go through and you verify the property, you verify who the showing agent is. You can literally click over here to send them a direct message right from your app, from the computer, and it would actually send them a message through ShowingTime. And you also see all their phone numbers and email addresses in there as well. You can verify who the listing contact is, and you can even send them a message directly from here if you have their information filled in inside of there. You can see all their appointment history of when the request was sent and when it was confirmed or anything else like that. You can confirm the access details, who is supposed to get this information? Is there alarm details? If you click on yes over here, you would have pre-populated all of the rest of that information as far as whether or not there was an alarm and what the code was, and you can say all that. For this particular example, I've set this to no. You can add in additional showing instructions for the showing agent, and you can confirm the appointment, propose new time, or decline the appointment. If you have text message activated, you will literally get on your phone a text message that looks like this. It's a showing request for East Street, Rochester for Thursday from Allison Townsend. And you can click on this to open up the ShowingTime app on your device, or from your cell phone, you can simply type in Y to confirm or N to decline. And if you do type in Y, automatically it's going to confirm the appointment. Remember, you are the listing agent here. If it is on your app, you're literally going to get a notification that says there's a requested for a showing, or if you had sent a request and it would simply say there's a confirmed showing request right over here. If your clients have it on their device, then they would also be able to see that ShowingTime request, and they can also see the activity and the feedback. You can see all those things on the bottom of the app. When you add in your client's email address, they are going to get an email that looks like this, that simply asks them to create the account or the login information. If they do that, they will then install an app on their phone, which says My Home. And then as sellers, they can confirm the showings or view listing activity or review feedback. As buyers, and they will also be able to see all of their upcoming tours and the rest of the information that's related to that. Okay. They will see their tours and their scheduled showings and which ones have been declined and confirmed, just like what I just barely showed you. They can literally go through and see each specific details of each showing, and they can see all of that right from there. Okay, let's go back to here. So that is what you're determining here is on your listings. You're the listing agent. How do you want to get that information? Now, sidebar. I never liked the text messages. Back when I was back when I was an active agent and we actually had different tools for showings, I would always have it set to my email and as a push notification. I like to, because all of a sudden you're in the basement or you're in a concrete building and something may or may not come through to your device in as quickly and timely manner as you would like. So then at least if you have it both going to email and push notification, it does help you out because you can see it as a backup source. Do you have to have it both? No, but you do have to have one. Okay, so, but having both is fine. And push notification will send it to your phone. Do you want to enable secure access by default on your new listings? Remember, secure access is the one that's only going to send it 15 minutes before, an hour before, whatever you want. You can actually activate that here as well. Do you want to request feedback from showing agents? Yes or no? Again, we're just setting the defaults for the listings over here. So if I say, yes, I do want to request feedback for these showings, how much feedback do you want to receive? Well, you can literally say, I want to send it 1, 2, 3, or up to 9 times. Now, sidebar here, I would never send a showing feedback request to an agent 9 times. If the agent does not respond after the first 2 or 3 times, no, I would just be annoying. Okay. And how many days between resends? Personally, I would like 2 or 3, and then 1 day between resends. And because now if that showing was today, and if it ended at 10 a.m. this morning, as soon as that showing is over, then Tammy is going to get a feedback request saying, hey, what did your clients think about the house? Well, maybe she's still going on to show another house and doesn't think about it. So instead, she just, she forgets to respond. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. she's going to get remember that listing, what it was your client's feedback. Oh yeah, that's right. And as soon as she replies to that feedback, then no more feedback requests get sent. So all you're setting here is the default settings for your new listings. Now, when you make changes inside of here, you'll notice when I click on save changes at the top of the page, it asks me, do you want to update all your listings or do you simply want to save the new defaults? So if you did make some changes and you want to update all your listings to match those changes, you simply click on this button and boom, all of your listings will now be updated to whatever changes you made in the back here. I'm actually going to click cancel because I don't want to make any changes. The next one is listing agent offer preferences. This is one of those things that is inside of here. Another one that we do not use in Edmonton, so just leave this one blank completely. Buyer's agent showing preferences. This is where you're going to set up your preferences for you as a buyer's agent, the showing agent, not the listing agent. As the showing agent, what do you want? Make sure that you have the right phone number in here. Make sure that you have the right number for text messaging. It may be the same number, it may be a different number, but make sure you have those filled in, because this is what is going to appear for other agents when they want to get in touch with you. Okay, so make sure you have this information filled in correctly. When we get to the notifications for appointments I've requested, some of you are going to say, well, you know, I got so many, I get so many messages every time I book an appointment. Why is that? Well, chances are you have all of these boxes checked off, because by default, they're all checked off. This means that when an appointment request is received, so you book the appointment, and as soon as that is received by the agent at the other end, I know that it is sitting on Dan's phone. When Dan opens up that showing request, I'm going to get another email that says, oh, it got to Dan's phone. Now he opened the email and he looked at it. And then when he confirms or cancels it, I get another email or another email. So that means for a simple showing request, you're going to get 3 emails. That's a lot. So if you don't want quite so many emails, I would uncheck this one. I don't care when I know I booked the appointment. Doesn't matter to me when Dan received it on his email inbox. Doesn't even matter to me when he looked at that email. The only thing that matters to me is when he confirms or cancels that appointment. I absolutely want to get an email about that. And I want it to come to my cell phone as a confirmed appointment via a push notification. So you can see all of those options in here. Now, again, here, there's an option for call, but I don't like the robocaller, so I would turn that off. And you can also get text messages as well if you really want to. Offer registration notification. We don't use offer notifications here in Edmonton, so you can just turn that off. Showing carts are assigned to me. We don't use that here in Edmonton either, so you can turn this off, even though I did hear that there's some offices that are starting to use this. And what this is if the office manages the showings for all the agents in the office, they can have something called ShowingTime for office, and then all the appointment requests go to one central location, and they manage all the showings for everybody. They can even build carts for specific agents. And now when they have this cart built and they say, okay, Corey's going to get this cart, and then it's all prepared, all the listing requests are in there, confirmations are in there, and that's all this is. But unless your office is using it, and I doubt it, there's not a lot of them that are, having something checked off here, not so irrelevant. Receive feedback requests from other agents. Do you want to receive a feedback request when you have shown in other agents' property? So whether you say email yes or no, or push notification yes or no, it will still show up inside of Paragon on the home page. But this is just going to help possibly limit some of the traffic that's already coming to our cell phones if you don't want that. Or if you do want it here, then you can literally have this. And then when that showing request, feedback request comes, it's going to pop up on your phone. Multi-unit notifications. We don't use multi-unit notifications. There is no activation for that in Edmonton. What is your default appointment type for new showings? You're going to choose here what your default appointment is. Now, most of you as showing agents, your default appointment would be a showing. But you can always pick on one of these others as your default request, but the bulk of the time it's going to be showing, so you might as well pick that as a default. What is your default appointment length for new listings? For many of you, you know how sometimes you go in there and you say, why is it only set for 15 minutes? Well, you can set this here. Now, just as a sidebar, there's a current glitch in the background that even if you have this set, for some people, even though you have this set, your default appointment showing request is 1 hour. For some of you, it is still going to go back to the office default of 15 minutes. Their ShowingTime is aware of it and they're trying to fix it. But for now, I would still set this as an hour to make this as a default, but you're simply going to make that setting over here. Remember, this is your settings as a showing agent, okay? You have a super I key, then please check to mark that box, and then just so that everyone is aware when you book the appointment that people know that you have a super key. Otherwise, they may have to make other arrangements to get you inside the house. We don't use the buyer's agent offer preferences, so having something checked off in here is irrelevant. Messages. How do you want to receive not random messages, personal messages through the ShowingTime system? Do you want to receive them as an email, or do you want to receive them as a push notification? Now, what am I talking about other messages inside the system. Well, other messages inside the system is basically simply a communication. I want to talk with one of you. And so I would literally send you a message through ShowingTime in regards to a specific listing, and it would allow to keep that conversation, yikers, intact in one place inside the ShowingTime app. So that part's really kind of cool. Board association and office broadcasts. As an association, we have the ability to literally send a group message to everybody. So if there's all of a sudden some sort of an alert or there's an emergency, we could literally broadcast to everybody in the association. And the office broker has the ability to actually send an office broadcast. So if they wanted to send a message to all the agents in the office, they could literally go through here and send an office broadcast, and it would appear to all the agents in their particular office. So if Alex had an important message he needed to get out to everyone, he could literally send it from here. How do you want to receive those? Again, via email and or push, or neither or both. And you can actually flag that inside of here. I personally like it going to push because it keeps it all within the ShowingTime app inside my device. But having it set to an email is a good idea as well, because it kind of keeps it in a separate folder for me. If you have text messages and push, then you can actually limit the access hours of when those will come through. Emails, you cannot restrict. If somebody is on the computer at 2 o'clock in the morning booking showings, which happens, then they can actually come to your device at 2 o'clock in the morning via email. But there's a really simple way to make sure that you don't get woken up by it. There's a little button on the side of most of your phones. It's called the power button. You can actually turn your phone off. Okay. But so you determine here when you want to receive text and push notifications to your phone. You can limit it for between 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. But if you're working with an offer and you're getting messages going back and forth, you probably don't want to stop it, because all of a sudden that conversation goes past 10 and you don't want to lose anything out. Down in the bottom, for those of you that had activated your devices by clicking on that QR code that I showed you on that previous page, you would then have your email inside of here. If you want to re-authenticate again, you can go back through the process where I clicked on register all over again from your ShowingTime app, or you can simply put in the email address for the device that you want to authenticate, put it in here and click on send authentication link. You can see that I am actually authenticated, and that's why I can actually remove this device. If you change phones, make sure you remove the old device. Okay, and then we don't use that. So once you have this done, you're going to click on Save Changes, and now your profile has been set up correctly. Why is my photo not in there? I thought I already had a profile picture. Let's get a profile picture, and there we go. Actually, no, we'll use this one. Okay, there we go. So there's a few more things that we're going to do from here, but I want to show you a really important function inside the system. We're actually going to go to your listings. From your listing setup on the left-hand side, you're going to go to listing setup, and you're going to see your listings if you have any. If you do have active listings, fantastic. Then under listing setup, you would see your listings. If you do not have any active listings, then you would see nothing in this window. So then you'll just have to watch, and I'll show you what it is. As soon as you are a listing agent on a property, you're going to click on that, and it is going to open up, and it's going to give you a page that looks like this. This is where all of those defaults and, this is the courtesy caller go and show. Let's go to this one, and this is appointment required. Okay. You notice that on this particular listing, I have said to yes to allow agents because we have that default set. On this particular listing, I have the default set to in-person and virtual. Maybe for this one, I'm changing it to I only want in-person appointments for this particular listing. And now I'm going to appointment type. And for this listing, just because my default is one thing, maybe this is a vacant property or whatever, you can literally go through and change your settings for this specific listing at 995 Test Haven. Is this a listing accompanied showing? If I click yes over here, you're going to notice that it changes something. If it is a listing agent accompanied showing, now this means that all appointment requests will go to you first as the listing agent. Can you be at this particular listing at 11 a.m. on Thursday to meet with the clients to show it? Yes or no. If you say yes, then if you have sent it to the seller for confirmation, it will go forward to the seller. The seller can confirm that appointment, it goes back. Or you can literally make that request yourself. And if you can confirm it, if you don't need the seller's permission, then you can literally confirm it back to the showing agent from here. That is what a listing agent at company showing. It's going to force the request to come through you first before it goes on to the seller. If it is not a listing agent at company showing, then it's perfectly fine. Then technically it could go directly to the seller if you have it set up. So let's talk about that. Over here, you see, here is my contact details. This is where I have all my contact details. Now, I don't know if any of you that are in the system here today have either unlicensed assistants that work with you or that are team members with somebody, or if some of you are even the unlicensed assistants. But here's a really important note. The unlicensed assistant needs to go into their own ShowingTime setup and set up their profile first. Then, after they have done that, then they can assume the identity of the primary agent and go into ShowingTime and make the changes that I'm going to show you. But please make sure that they set up their profile first so that they're activated. They can do everything on their device, because only one person can be logged into the ShowingTime app at a time. So if you have an unlicensed assistant or a partner that works with you, you need to go in and do your own ShowingTime profile first with your own login, because we know that there's nobody that's accessing it without a proper login. Then you assume the identity of the primary agent, and then you go in here as the primary agent, and now you're going to make the settings accordingly. You notice that for this particular listing, if I open up this listing in Paragon, do you know that there's only one listing agent in Paragon? That is Ray Trainer. However, Ray Trainer, this particular listing, he has gone down here and added a new co-listing agent. Now, the co-listing agent is literally anyone from your office. Okay, whoever's in your office, you can literally add that person to your particular ShowingTime. When you add them to your ShowingTime, you can see that Ray Trainer has added Training Shannon, Ray Trainer 1, Training Vern, and an owner occupant. Owner occupant, absolutely. My owner occupant here, Minnie Mouse, when it went down to add an owner occupant, I added here, and I have all of my current owner occupants. I got a couple of Forrest Gumps. I've got I Want to Sell. I've got Shannon, and I'm an owner. Okay. So I've got a whole bunch of owner occupied that are already inside of my profile. When you choose to add an owner occupant to your particular listing, or you add somebody else that is classified as a co-listing agent. Now, please don't get caught up in this word. If you're an unlicensed agent and you add a new co-listing agent, this does not make you an agent. This is only referencing as a co-listing agent as far as ShowingTime is concerned, because of the powers and abilities that you can do from within the system. Now you'll notice that I've got two columns here. I've got confirm appointments and notify of confirmed or canceled appointments. Here in my can confirm appointments, you'll notice that Training Shannon can confirm appointments. Training Vern can confirm appointments, and he has it via email and push. Okay. In fact, if I activate this here as well as email and push, then these three can also confirm appointments. I do not have Minnie Mouse selected as email or push for can confirm appointments. But if I did, if I activated in here, then what would happen is that when an appointment is made on your listing, Ray Trainer, Training Shannon, and Training Vern will be sent an email requesting confirmation. Ray Trainer, Training Shannon, Training Vern, and Minnie Mouse will receive a push notification requesting confirmation. Okay, so you're determining here who can confirm the appointment. The second one is notify of confirmed or canceled appointments. And you can see that I have almost everyone is going to get an email, and all of those that have the app are going to get a push notification. So here's why I would make sure that I have my owners in every one of these. what do you have to do every time you get a showing request? You typically, somebody says there's a showing request for Thursday at 11 a.m. What do you have to do? You have to text or call the seller and say, hey, Minnie, well, somebody wants to show your house Thursday at 11. Does that work for you? Oh, 11 a.m. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that works. Perfect. Thanks, Minnie. Hang up the phone. You confirm the appointment. Imagine if you could simply do like this. And now here's how this works. When Corey books the appointment with me as the listing agent, the appointment request bounces through me, goes straight to my client, Minnie. Minnie looks at it, says 11 o'clock on Thursday. Yeah, that's not a problem. I can show it then. Bounces back through me, but she gets the request from me. Bounces back through me, goes to Corey, so the appointment is confirmed. What did I do? I just sat here like this and it went bounce. Yep, Minnie confirmed. Perfect. And the appointment is done. Do you want to give Minnie that control or not? That is, of course, your personal choice. But I would absolutely do this one. The reason I would do this one is because now Corey has that appointment booked for Thursday at 11 o'clock. Okay. Or let's say has a book for today at 11 o'clock. Okay, perfect. Well, now at 10:01 a.m., he's in a training class and he messages me and says, Vern, by the way, I can't make that appointment at 11 o'clock anymore. Can we move that to Thursday? I look at it and say, okay, yeah, as soon as I'm done this class, I've got to let Minnie know. What happens? I forget. 11:15 rolls around. Minnie's already sitting out in the car with her little kids. 11:30 rolls around. She calls me. She's not very happy. She says, Vern, what the heck? I had to pack up my kids this morning. It looks like it's going to rain, so I wasn't sure how much to pack. And my one kid's diaper's already wet. And what about this agent that was supposed to come at 11 o'clock? Oh, shoot, I'm sorry, Minnie. Yeah, no, he told me at 10 o'clock this morning that he wasn't going to make it at 11. And I was in a class and I completely forgot to let you know. Minnie is not happy. However, if I am telling her of confirmed or canceled appointments, now when Corey cancels that appointment with me, it bounces through me, goes straight to my client, Minnie. Minnie sees it pop up on her device and says, oh, the appointment's canceled. Oh, good. Then I don't have to worry about taking my kids out of the house because my one kid is fussing today and not feeling well. Okay, perfect. So I would make sure that I do this. Plus, then when you confirm the appointment, they have a record of it. They know when the appointments are confirmed and it is all visible right here. So this here is a really, really powerful tool. And again, here, now you're making the personal preference for this particular listing at 995 Test Haven. What do you want to share with your clients? Okay. So you can add new co-listing agent or add owner occupant. You can do all of that here at the same time. You can also do something called advanced notifications. An advanced notification means that if that request was not received or, if the request was not responded to, do you want to escalate that? If I say yes over here, now I say I can choose anything from 1 to 8 hours, either before the requested start time or after the request is made. So if I say, you know what, I need to make sure that I respond to those requests in a timely manner, I can literally say that within an hour of the request is made, if nobody has responded, not me, not training Vern, not Ray, not training Shannon, and not Minnie Mouse, let's take it up to the next level. And how do you want to get notified of that? And you can simply now send everyone a notification inside of here to say, by the way, make sure that you notify my client, call everybody again, say, listen, guys, nobody has responded to the showing request. And it helps to add, that's what escalation is. Okay. So I would usually do this, before the requested start time, say, you know what, I need to know if at least 2 hours before the requested start time, to be fair, if nobody has responded yet, I need to respond to that. Okay. So that's what escalation does inside of here. I don't want it on, so I'm going to take that off. The next one is appointment restrictions. Under appointment restrictions, remember we had that black block and then we had the gray window and you could do different things like that. You can literally put in here lead time, or you could say no same day appointments. So this would tell me then that there is no showings allowed at the same day. So if somebody wanted to try to book an appointment on May 10th, it would not be allowed. Or if I allowed them on the same day, how many windows of notice do I need? Well, I need at least 2 hours notice, but I would prefer 4 hours notice. So if you do this, if I say 2 hours notice, but I prefer 4, then for the next 2 hours from 10 o'clock till noon, it would be black. You cannot book an appointment before noon. But from noon till 2 o'clock, it would be gray, which means you can book an appointment in that time spot. We're going to try to take care of it, but we may not be able to respond because it might not be enough time. Outside of 4 o'clock, wide open, pick an appointment request as you would. That's what you're determining here under advance notice. You can also set a maximum, a minimum and a maximum appointment length. You can say, you know what, if you're going to kick my clients out of the house, you need to make sure that you're allowing at least this much time. We don't want you to book an appointment for shorter than this. Most people don't have a minimum appointment time, but a lot of people are going to have a maximum appointment time. Now, in a crazy market for some of the properties that are out there, you may actually say, you know what, you got to look at that house in 30 minutes. I have way too many requests. So you have the most I will give you is a 30-minute window. I would probably never have this set to 15 minutes as a showing maximum appointment length time, just because there's not a lot you can do in 15 minutes. I've showed houses in less than 15 minutes, and you sometimes do if they have no interest, but I would probably have this set at 30 minutes or an hour. But again, personal preference. And then here's again, allow overlapping appointments, yes or no. And if you say yes, then you're going to say how many appointments maximum do you want to allow. The default as of right now is no overlapping appointments. And if you have no overlapping appointments, you're not going to set the buffer time in this, because maybe they want to go home and clean between each appointment, or they need to get back because they have to change the baby or feed the baby or whatever. You can literally have those windows set in here as well for each of your appointments. And that's a personal preference. Here's the showing restrictions. Remember, I talked about the birthday party or the Oilers game tonight. So there's a restriction because there's the Oilers game, and there's a time restriction. So tonight we want no showings after 7 o'clock. Okay, so no showings, and that is only for today. Okay, and if I click that showing restriction now, if somebody tries to book an appointment tonight between after 7 p.m., it will be blacked out. They are unable to book that appointment during that time window. Okay, so if I go over here and look at showing restrictions, you can see the showing restriction is shown right in this window over here. You could also do another example of a showing restriction is maybe it's a shift worker. And by the way, the only person who sees this comment up here is you. The other agents don't see it. And basically, they want no showings before noon. And it is a repeating restriction, and it starts now and goes for the rest of the month, because for the month of May, on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, they want no showings before noon. I'm literally going to click in here, keep showing appointment, and I guess I had an appointment request for Monday. I'm going to decline and cancel that appointment because they don't want any showings. So I literally just cancel that appointment. So as a shift worker now for the rest of the month on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, they will not be allowed to have any appointments. Okay. The last one is access information. Remember, this is just for this one specific listing. I have secure access enabled. Secure access keeps the information, and you can have that window set for when they get that information limited to a specific time. If you do not have secure access, it's fine. But if you do have secure access, then you can say, how much before the appointment time do I want to let this agent know what the alarm is, what the gate code is, what the CBS code is, whatever it is that I put out there. But you can literally say here 15 minutes before, which means if your appointment is booked for noon, then at 11:45 is when they will get all of this information. Okay. So if they have different things inside of here, you can see that here's the gate code to get into the property. There is a super box on the property. I don't bother with the serial number. The lockbox on the front railing, there's a CBS code 123456. There's an alarm code 1234, and the alarm arm code when you're done is 4321. Really complicated. Scary thing is the number of people out there that have the alarm code as 1234 is shocking. And if yours is that, please go home and change it. Where is the panel? Really important. As a showing agent, the number of times that I had to run through a house, I heard the beep, beep, beep. So you knew your timer was running up. Where the heck is the panel? And you go and you look and you have to move the door and then open up a closet and then move a jacket. That's where the alarm panel is? Really? So if you have that, please put that information inside of here. Yeah, I mean, it just makes it easier. Add showing instructions. So I've got a couple of words inside here. Please lock doors. Dog does not bite and chain is longer than it appears. Do not lock the garage door. There's a lot of people who have a locking garage door between the garage and the house, and they don't have a key for it. So please do not adjust thermostat. Leave lights on as you found them. Property stand occupied. Listing agent must, whatever you have. You can type some random stuff in here, or we've got a couple of predefined notes. You could literally simply click and put things inside of there. And then when you do that, you'll notice that it simply adds it right to the showing instructions. Driving directions, access via back alley is no parking on Front Street, really important. So this access information right over here will only get sent to the agents 15 minutes prior to the showing that they have booked. So once I click on Save Changes, that is now locked in for this particular listing. From here, you can literally see the full listing activity report, all of the times that people have showed this property. There's been a lot of appointments. There's 48 showings in November of 2018 on this property. There's only a couple of them over here. You can see the feedback at a glance. You can see that the published feedbacks are here. You notice that some of them say no, and some of them say publish, and some of them say remove. Well, if I read through this and I see one of these that I really like, I can literally click on publish over here, and it will send it to my client's app right on their device. Okay, so you can see all that. Well, if you do not have the app, you can literally go over here and click on homeowner version. And now I will actually see all of the published comments on this house. And at the bottom here, you can see all of the times that the house has been shown and whether or not it was past showing, declined showing, showing unconfirmed. Obviously, nobody responded to that showing in time. You can see all of that information right from here at a fell swoop. You can email this, you can print this, or you can download it as a PDF, whatever you want to do. Go back to the agent version. You can add an activity. Maybe you had a showing booked because the agent just simply called you. You can literally go in here and click on add the activity. What was this? Well, this was a showing. When did they show it? Well, they showed it yesterday. At what time did they show it? Well, they showed it from 4 to 4:30. And who is the agent? Well, the agent was, and we're just going to grab one of you guys here. And let's search for this particular agent. And thanks, Dan. There's Dan, and I can literally go in here and manage the feedback for him. Or if I uncheck this and click on save, then he's now going to get the feedback request. But what I did is I just added Dan as a showing agent. If we go down over here, you're going to see right over here is Dan at the showing that he had on May the 12th, 12:15 to 12:30. That's actually a future showing. I should have picked yesterday, but that's okay. So here's a showing request that I just barely added to this particular listing. Okay, so you can manually add them in here as well to track it, and you could go back in time. And if I went back over here, I could say this was on that particular day, and I could have done it as well. Okay, so if you have showings, you want to track them all in one place. And the advantage is that when your client goes to the activity report, they will see all of those showings. Now, what's the best way? One of the best ways for you to track this? Well, two things. Number one, inside your ShowingTime app, you've got all the information. But over here, I can also go to showings, and I can see the calendar, and I can see all of my upcoming appointment requests as the way that I have them. Or if I don't want to have to go here, I actually want them inside the calendar app on my phone. Then from your home profile page, when you go back to the home and you click on edit profile, there's a button right over here that says calendar sync. And if I click on calendar sync, it asks me to sync that appointment. Which appointments do I want to sync? Do you want to sync just your unconfirmed or your canceled, or how far back do you want to go with your appointments? And you could actually create the calendar sync link, which you would then import into your Outlook or Gmail. But if you do that from your phone, which I'm going to show you next, you can also sync those calendars right from your phone. So let's grab the phones for a second. I'm going to back over here. And I'm going to go and share my screen again. Okay, Where's my phone? There's my phone. Okay. So from my phone over here, I'm actually going to go to my ShowingTime app. And from my ShowingTime app, I'm going to click on my name down here at the bottom. You'll notice that when I click on my name, it opens up a page of defaults. I can go over here and click on showing defaults, and I'm now setting the default settings for newly added listings. Is the same information as the preferences that I previously set on my computer right over here, including all the defaults and the overlapping and the buffer time. And you're setting all of that stuff for any of your new listings. I can go over here and say, what are the showing notifications? How do I want to receive this information on my device, which is exactly the same as over here. When appointment requests are set, I'm sorry, right over here. When appointment requests are requested and appointments are confirmed or canceled. I can offer preferences. Again, it's irrelevant because we don't use that one. Go down to the next one, which is buyer's agent showing preferences. We are now going to talk about this section. So if I go to showing preferences, it's going to show me what's my default showing, what's my default length, and do I have a super box? Those are things that are right inside of here at the bottom. If I go to showing notifications, I can say, how do I want to receive it? Remember, we disabled a whole bunch of these. Well, this is where you can actually do this right from the convenience of your cell phone, including your contact information down here at the bottom of the page. Going down to offer notifications. Again, that's something that we don't use in Edmonton. Contact details. I'm now setting my stuff, which is at the very top of this page under your profile basics. And you can literally go through here and change this by simply clicking on one of these fields. And I'm sorry, you have to go down to the very, very bottom. It's not showing here. I have to click on edit here, and then it's going to pop right into the side of my screen over there. And let's maximize this like this. There we go. I wasn't showing my whole screen. So if I click on edit, then I can actually make some changes to this particular system. If I go to additional preferences, I can say now the message notification, which is what I had set down at the bottom over here, is now set on my phone. The only thing that you cannot set defaults for on your smartphone that you can on the computer is the automated feedback requests right over here. It's the only thing you can't edit from your phone for now. I heard that they're going to be making a change to that, but right now it's not there yet. The last thing on here is I was just barely talking about calendar sync. If I go over here and click this calendar sync on my computer, or if I click calendar sync on my phone, then it is going to ask me, what do I want to share? Do I want to, as the listing agent, showing agent, unconfirmed, how far back do I want to show those appointments? And because this is an Android, it's asking me to add it to my Google Calendar. And if I click sync now, on my phone, it would add it to my Google Calendar because that's my default calendar on my Android. If you did it from your computer, you can literally put that, and depending on what you're using, whether you're using Gmail or Hotmail or Outlook, there's ways of adding that calendar right to your Outlook, to that particular device or app. You have to possibly do a Google search to find it out why. But once you have that done, then all of those will start appearing in your calendar on your phone. Now, you no longer have to go hunting and looking, oh, shoot, I think I have some appointments today. When is that appointment again? You'd open up your app and it would actually show you everything that is on there. If you click on the details for that particular appointment, it's now going to tell you whether or not that appointment is confirmed and the listing details about that. On the Android, it actually opens it up straight to the full page right away. On the iPhone, you have to click on that to expand it to show all notes. Then it would actually show you where's the lockbox, where's the alarm code, where's the notes. All of those kinds of things are all inside of your app, which makes your life a whole bunch easier. Okay, let's go back to my this one. Any questions about that? Still got everybody with me? Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is if you have a super lockbox that you have tied to a specific listing, then if the appointment gets confirmed from within ShowingTime and the agent accesses the super lockbox within that time window that you had a confirmed showing time appointment, your listing activity details inside of ShowingTime will now say there was a super access. And the super access has the green check mark because this particular agent, Wendy Thompson, showed the property within the window of that appointment as part of my super time, super lockbox. If they accessed the lockbox and they had not confirmed an appointment, then it would show a lockbox like this with the little padlock inside there. How does the automated feedback work? The automated feedback means that for a particular listing, okay, if I go back here to listing setup, I'm determining from here which feedback template do I want to send. Do I want to send the showing time or the short template or my own custom template, which is the VT condo? So how does the feedback request work? When a showing agent gets a feedback request, they will simply say, yes, I like the house. No, I didn't like the house. You saw that when we looked at the listing activity report, that different people had said different things about, I mean, is your client interested in this listing? What's the opinion of the price? Rate the listing. I have a whole bunch of different questions that I put in here over time. To set up your feedback, you go over here as the My Feedback, and you can read all of your feedback that's currently outstanding on your listings, or you can go over here to Form Design and Settings. Now, the broker has a little bit more control over this because the broker can actually come up with some default feedback requests and default forms, and they can make some templates that you use as an entire office, but you still have the option of choosing which template you want to use for your specific listings. You'll notice that I've got 3 templates here. I've got a showing time default template, I've got a short template, and I've got my own custom template that I made. The way that these work is when I go to the feedback form, you can see that my short template basically says, is your client interested in this listing? And you make the questions. What's your client's opinion of the price and the recommendations? If you have the full template, there's a lot more questions inside here. Please rate your overall experience. What's the opinion of the price? Please rate the listing or comments. And by adding these in here and customizing them, you can create a new template. You can preview the survey to see exactly what the other agents will see for this particular listing and how they can simply go along and answer those questions. So it's really, really neat because now you can actually get that information from your clients at any point in time you want. The last thing I want to show you is the app's messaging tools. The messaging tools are really, really powerful within the ShowingTime app. When you have your list of appointments, let's say you've got, as a showing agent, here is these 3 confirmed appointments as a showing agent. Well, you click on one of those listings because you have a little bit of a follow-up question. So you click on that listing at 1309 North Wells Street, and you're going to say, no, I'm not done the showing, but I do want to contact, and you would simply click on the agent's name up here, and you would say, I do have a question for you, Mr. What is there's a showing confirmed, and you say, okay, that was fine because the appointment was confirmed. Can your seller do a quick closing? That message will get sent from you as the showing agent to the listing agent. It pops up on their screen. Can your seller do a quick closing? They're going to click on that and say, you know what? Let me check with my sellers. They're going to go to their phone and they're going to click on their contact. Okay, the listing contract in this particular case, the owner occupant is Robert Hughes. He clicks on Robert Hughes's name and says, hey, Robert, how soon could you close? It's a new message from Phil as the listing agent. If Robert has the app installed, he could go over here and open up his ShowingTime app on his phone and answer the question, and if he did that, it would appear like this, or he could have just replied back right from the text as well. How soon could you close? He says, anytime. It pops back to the listing agent. The listing agent goes back to the conversation that he had with the other agent, with the showing agent, and he says, my seller is flexible, and boom, that confirmation, it goes back to the showing agent and they have that information. you can see that there's also, if you're going to be running late, you can literally click on appointment and says there, reschedule because you're going to be running late, or there's a done showing button at the bottom. So you can tell the clients that you're done the showing and that they go back sooner. You can reschedule it. You can running late or arriving early. You can send all that information back to the primary agent. The advantage with the messages is all the messages are tracked in here inside the app. Or if you're on your device. Okay, I'm going to go back to my device over here. If I'm on my device and I have the ShowingTime app open, you can see if I click on this icon in the top right-hand corner over here, I've got a whole bunch of messages inside of here. Well, maybe I want to send a message to somebody, and I'm going to grab one of you here, and I'm not sure who it is. I could literally search for one of my existing or I can type in listing information because I want to get a message directly to a person about something. I'm not sure if any of you has active listings right now. I'd love to play with that and show you what it looks like in here, but that's, if you do, please type it in the chat box. But instead, I'm going to grab a name over here, and let's grab Jeff Lorenz. Don't know who you are, but let's search for you. Nope. Okay, let's try Jeff Taylor. There it is, Jeff Taylor. And so if I click on Jeff and I say, yep, that's who I want to send a message to, I'm going to click on start. And I'm going to, type in here, thanks for coming. Is that home still for sale? Okay, and send message. And as soon as it says in here, you can see it says right in my app, it says delivered. And I'm not sure if Jeff has the app open on his phone or not, but it would have actually popped up immediately on his device. And then it would change here to red, and he'd be able to read. And there, he's got it open. He read, and if he replies back, it stays actually inside this same app inside ShowingTime because it's a conversation about a specific property that is right inside of here. The advantage is that as I go through here, and you can see that I've got a conversation here. Here was a conversation about this particular property that Ray Trainer replied back. He says, we might be a little early as another spot cancel. Oh, I can see that Jeff has now replied, and it appears right there. And if I had waited enough, I would see that he has actually replied, and pops up right in my news feed right over here. Okay. If I click on that, it takes me straight back to the conversation, and he says yes. So now I can go through there and I can see the entire conversation, whatever that conversation was about. I had a conversation with Anna Vasquez about this particular listing. I had another conversation about with Ray Trainer. Hi, Vern, does this house have a pool? Apparently I suck because I still haven't replied to that message. So you can see there's conversations that I've had back and forth with a lot of these agents about some of these properties. Okay, just checking on the status of the Mill Street home. It is still available. We need 24 hours notice. Can you check the status of the house on Elm? It is available and vendors are motivated. And you go back and forth, you can see all that. And I can see that Jeff Lorenz has now replied, and he sent me a message. He said, I'm not sure why you couldn't find me. Well, I just clicked the wrong button. I know you're there, Jeff. So yeah. So if I go back over here, and if I go back to my messages, let's go find Jeff. Okay, go over here, and there's two of me in here. So let's type him. I'm logged in here as a different profile. So if I minimize this and then click that, there you are. So now I can actually send a message back to you here. So I do have two different profiles. I have my own personal profile, which is logged into here, and I have my training profile. So they're all inside of here. So testing, and there it gets sent from there. Okay, so it all works. Oh, I wasn't even sharing my screen. There you are. The joys of clicking around on two different computer screens all at the same time. But the bottom line is that by keeping conversation all intact in one spot, it makes it so much easier to know exactly what is happening with that. And if I was to go to any one of these appointments that I had here, if I go back to the beginning, and let's see if I go to my buyers, and I've got Elvis Presley, And here's his listings. And as soon as the page loads here, I can view, there's another activity coming up on May the 10th. There's 5 stops and the time not specified. Apparently I didn't complete that booking, so that's bad on me. I've requested, I think I did all those requests from here. Yep, I'm in the wrong. That's what happens when you get into the wrong profile. But all of that information is inside of here. And if I literally had an upcoming appointment, I could have tracked conversations as part of this. How do you delete the old message you do not wish to save? You can't. They're just in here. And they will just scroll across here and they'll just stay in here till the end of time. So that question is an excellent question, Jeff. And those have been asked to us in the past. Well, what if I don't want that conversation anymore? It was a conversation. It's just a record of it. It's simply on your profile and it stays connected with you. So that's why when I'm doing these test messages, I'm really careful what I send in here because it's kept. Having said that, keeping some of these conversations and having things tracked is great for you, because now all of a sudden you guys discuss things like possession date or deposits and all the rest of that stuff. And even though, yes, everything should always be in writing in a contract, and sometimes you forget exactly when somebody said that their clients are going to be willing to accept this or accept that. If you have it in writing, if push comes to shove, you actually do have some hardcore evidence that you can use in a case if it came to that. Hopefully it never does, but as an agent, I know that it's really, really good to have that archived information.
Hey, Vern.
Yes.
We have a couple questions. One is about the feedback questions default.
Okay.
Someone created their own template, but it always defaults back to the default one. How are they able to save that?
Yeah, if you have a default template set up, I think, let me see if I go here, set as default agent template for all new listings right here. So if that agent goes into their feedback form design and settings, chooses, you can see there's a star there beside short template, right? If I choose this one as my default template and I now click on save changes, now the star is beside this one that I made. I don't even know what it is. It's just VT condo, but this would now be the default for new listings. Now, in each specific listing, and it's a good idea. I mean, maybe you have a slightly different template for condos than you do for everything else. Now I can go through here, and because of my profile is a little bit whacked out, but it's going to choose the new default template. My training profile, there's some restrictions on it, so I literally can't choose it. But this is where you would go. Then it should appear in this list over here.
Okay. And then the next question is about mass messaging for a listing that you have. So you're the listing agent. You're going to be presenting offers on Wednesday at 6 p.m. You want to inform everyone that's viewed the property that that's when you're presenting, or how many offers you've received.
One at a time. Yeah, there's no mass messaging. If you go to the specific listing over here and I click on the listing activity report, I can go down and I can find all of the agents that have shown my property. Let's change this around, and I could literally click on this particular listing over here and it shows me that. But if I can literally only do one at a time, so I can see all of the different things that, and Dan must have done one of his own, or did I do both of those? I don't even remember. But you can only send them one at a time. So if you're on the app, it's a little bit easier, because from the app you can click on the button like I was showing you in the messaging tool over. Let me jump to the right page. This one. From this page here, if you click on those past appointments, literally once you click on this listing at the bottom, 1309 Wells Street, you could, once you get down to it, you could get in touch with the agent from here. By scrolling down, you can see that information, and so you can get a message back to them, but you can only do that one at a time. So there's no mass messaging. That's probably a security function as well, because people might get carried away with mass messaging. Any other questions?
No, those were the only two questions at this time.
Okay, perfect. Well, the biggest thing I will share with you is if you go to the knowledge base, and we do have a widget here called ShowingTime. And from ShowingTime, we have a lot of these things are inside of here. You know, how to manage showing times as a team, co-agent, or assistant. There's a previous recording of a webinar. I know Alex recorded today's session, so that one will be available to you as well. How to download and sign into the ShowingTime app. Off-market listings still showing, book a virtual showing, this COVID stuff. There is pre-scheduling forms that you could have activated. I didn't have them for any of my listings, but there was a pre-scheduling form that was in there that you had to answer all these questions that we've seen for the last 2 years. You know, do you have a fever? Do you have a cough? Do you have, you know, all the rest of that stuff. You can activate that on your showing, on your listings, and how the broker manager can actually set that up and set up that default form. Listing management, ShowingTime waitlist. This one here is a brand new one, Alex, which you may want to take a look at, but you can literally take your particular page, and you saw that when I went into mine, I've got my company logo up here. We choose a random logo over here. You can literally brand your page with your company logo. As the office manager, you go to office setup, click on branding, and upload your logo, so you can have that up there as well. So then what's going to happen is any of the emails that come out will automatically have your company logo there instead of just the word, just the ShowingTime logo. So that's something new that literally this article came out 11 days ago. So you're the first ones I get to tell that to. So I will paste this link into the chat box here, so you guys can see all of that. But I would strongly recommend you go through here, and you can watch the pre-recorded webinar here, or you can watch the one that Alex will send you from today's session as well. Any other questions? If not, then I say thank you very much. And I do encourage you that if you want to go in here and search for test listings, and please, by all means, I mean, grab any of these listings, book showing appointments on them, find out how it works, how it interacts with your app. They're spread out to a number of the other staff that are here, and we'll confirm some appointments, we'll decline some appointments, we'll change some scheduled times, we'll send some feedback, I mean, things like that, just so you're familiar with it. The biggest reason I tell you to do that with these test listings is so that when a real listing comes along, and it's up to you to actually respond now in real time, that you're not stuck. Oh, shoot, how do I confirm this appointment? How do I change this? How do I do that? Practice with these listings. Please book all the appointments, send all the messages that you want, and we will decline, confirm, whatever, and you can find, and it's a great way to play in practice in that regard.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vern. Fantastic info. Some people were messaging me saying that they've been using ShowingTime since it came out, and yet they still learned something new today. So, and myself, I did the same thing. So thank you again so much for coming. If you're still on, make sure you copy that link. Otherwise, you can go through the member portal and find it as well. But as always, thank you so much, everyone. I hope you're having a great day. And thank you, Vern, for doing this for us.
Not a problem.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
See you guys.